Now, if you've ever played Fallout, then there's a good chance you've encountered one of these anorexic, angry space goblins in your game. Diplomacy isn't really an option because lanky green men hate fuck Homo sapiens for fun. They are not friendly at all, and seeing as how you can't add them to Snapchat, it's hard to find out what they're really all about, and whether or not they think your dick looks weird at 2 a.m. after happy hour made you a sad, lonely man bitch. So in order to learn about these mysterious pick last for gym class aliens, we had to dig deep and search every Fallout game for clues. We also doubled down hard on the internet. Did you guys know the internet basically has all the answers? Yeah. After digging up some real juicy info on the Zetans, I found myself really asking all sorts of other questions. Really went deep down that rabbit hole and learned some super disturbing things about myself. Like, did you guys know it's actually gay to suck off another man even if it's for money? Well, that's news to me! Anyways, the origin of the Zetan Aliens is largely unknown, mainly because they're not really into pillow talk. But throughout much of human history, the Zetans have abducted and collected humans, their creations, and other creatures from Earth for study, cryogenic preservation, and experimentation. Yeah, butt stuff. So they are like intergalactic kidnappers pretty much, and also rapists. At some unknown point, the Zetans arrived to Earth from an unknown star system on at least 2 known motherships to study the Earth. One known as Zetta, and the other one was unnamed. Chronologically, the earliest known abductee is a Japanese samurai of the Oda clan from the late 1500s. Though it is unknown if the Zetans were present on Earth before this point. Regardless, since at least that point in time, they have continuously abducted humans and other creatures from Earth and also collected their technology. Yeah, they like stole their iPhones and shit. Maybe even abused their data plans. Now, getting abducted by aliens definitely sucks. But what's worse is that no internet service provider believes that ET was racking up all them roaming charges. Son of a bitch! I mean, no one really believes you when you tell them that you've been abducted by aliens anyways, which I think is a version of victim shaming. You know, they probably say something like, you likely wouldn't have got abducted if you weren't wearing thong underpants and pulling your butt apart in the middle of the forest at 2 a.m., Brendan. And they'd be correct. I am a slut for a good abduction. Now in 1697, the Zetans abducted a villager from Salem Village, Massachusetts. In the mid to late 1800s, Wild West period in the United States, they abducted a cowboy from Texas. The Zetans continued to abduct countless individuals from across the earth, especially in the United States. Now, despite the length of their presence on Earth, Zetans remain unknown to humanity at large for the vast majority of their visitation. This could be because they are good at hiding, or maybe they have a team of 10-year-olds that smuggle them around governments. Who knows? It was not until the abduction of Colonel Hartigan and the Clarabella 7 capsule that their influence became felt by modern society, with groups such as the Queer Verum formed to reveal the truth about them. Though the Verum was widely regarded to be a crackpot conspiracy group by the public, which is crazy because I know every time someone comes up to me on the street saying aliens are stealing people, I always think, yeah, that person's got it all figured out. Nothing unusual about them at all. Bet they're real contributors to society. So Verum attempted to use the MPLX NovaSurge, a prototype plasma pistol, somehow recovered by the group from the government, as proof that the US government had been using alien technology, though the weapon was later recovered by the Zetans themselves. Well, the group itself was dismantled by the federal government for their role in stealing the weapon. At this point, it was believed by many that the US government had based much of their technology off of alien technology, which makes sense when you think about any movie ever made about aliens and the American government. Even corporations such as Wilson Atomatoys were accused of using alien technology, but how did that complaint go down, I wonder, though? Yeah, listen, don't hang up on me, but I'm pretty sure this doll keeps watching me sleep at night. Also, I'm pretty sure my teddy bear is from outer space. Don't you dare hang up on... Ah, damn it, I lost another one. Likewise, in Massachusetts, the Nuka Galaxy section of the theme park Nuka World, owned by the Nuka-Cola Corporation, also featured animatronics, bearing an identical resemblance to the Zetans wielding their signature alien blasters. Everyday citizens also had some awareness of Zetans, given that some comics featured images of the Zetans on their covers and mentioned them by name. So it seems the Zetans were not that big of a secret. That or people just didn't believe they actually exist, like the abominable snowman Bigfoot or a moral politician. Sometime around 2241 in San Francisco, California, a science fiction author named Dick Hubble founded the religious cult known as Hubbology, after claiming to have made contact with the aliens. He claimed to have met an alien entity known as the Starfather from the planet Quetzal in the Xiphus constellation, and claimed this entity told him that humans were seeded onto the Earth by aliens. Then a bunch of people listened to that information I just told you and gobbled it up like Kool-Aid. And we wonder why aliens experiment on us. You'd think that whole I was abducted by the Starfather thing would be a really big red flag. Nope. Sign me up. Also, do I get one of those cool robes, man? He also claimed that humans were infected with neurodynes, or the spiritual remnants of the deceased, and that to achieve one's full potential, one needed to purge himself of these neurodynes. I feel like this is a pitch for a terrible nutritionist drink that tastes like ass, but they sell it by saying it gets rid of neurodynes. Anyways, in response, he invented the Zetta Ray Emitter, which actually seems to temporarily increase the intelligence of one subjected to the special rays. Passed down from him to his ancestors by 2287 is a Zetan alien blaster, indicating that he did make contact with the aliens, and that those aliens were Zetans. Now, given the nature of the religious cult as an exploitative business, it is unknown to what extent his teachings are true, but there was at least some truth to his making contact with the Zetans. And I mean, all of that cult shit sounds compelling and everything until the FBI raids your polygamous ranch in Texas, blowing everyone away in a hail of murderous gunfire. In late pre-war Virginia, the Zetans operated through a network of Zetan agents who captured individuals in the wilderness around the town of Flatwoods for experimentation. One such person was the Assistant Chief Executive Officer of Vault-Tec, who was inspecting the construction of Vault 76 sometime between 2064 and 2069. These alien agents were often spotted and reported upon by Flatwoods locals, though local law enforcement did not take the sighting seriously. The Zetan agents were dubbed the Flatwood Monsters by the locals and the media. These Zetan agents continued to operate in Appalachia at least up until 25 years after the Great War. The Enclave also maintained a research facility in Appalachia where they apparently held 3 Zetan bodies and studied them. Kinda like the creepy scientist in Independence Day that gets a boner when he shows them off. Yeah, that guy. In other places across the pre-war United States, up until shortly before the Great War, the Zetans continued to abduct humans. Because if horror movies have taught me anything about college kids, they're easy to kidnap. Now, in 2041, they abducted the professor of anthropology archaeology at Banfield College, Humboldt, Oregon. Other known abductees included a USSA linguistics specialist, a U.S. senator, and someone within the White House who had the codes needed to launch the entirety of the U.S.'s then currently armed ICBM nuclear weapons. During the reclamation of Anchorage, Alaska, somewhere between 2066 and 2077, numerous U.S. Army personnel were abducted from Alaska by the Zetans, including a U.S. Army combat medic and his entire unit. I mean, it really makes you wonder what makes all these people so special, right? I've never been abducted, despite the fact that I like to dress like a slut and hang out in crop circles. I guess some people just get all the luck, don't they? After the Great War, the Zetans began abducting and then studying and experimenting on the new creatures from across the American wasteland, including super mutants, feral ghouls, Brahmin, and many others. They also abducted members of the new groups of people formed after the war, including raiders and slavers. The Flatwoods Monster also continued to operate in Appalachia for at least 25 years. Now, other groups across the wasteland seem to have some awareness of the Zetans, because as of 2277 in the Capital Wasteland, the Brotherhood of Steel, Brotherhood Outcasts, and the Enclave had alien power cells in their respective armories, which is pretty interesting, I think. Sometime around 2277, the Lone Wanderer encountered an alien signal that led him to the downed Zetan recon craft known as Theta. On approach, he was abducted via a tractor beam onto Zeta. From there, he was experimented on and then placed into a containment cell, where he joined with several other abductees, including the aforementioned slaver, combat medic, samurai, and cowboy, as well as a young pre-war girl, in order to take over the ship and find a way back to Earth. The crew fought their way through Zeta, destroying its generators, and then fighting all the way to the Zetan captain's cabin. After slaying the captain, the crew took control of the ship and engaged in a final showdown with the other unnamed mothership. After destroying the other mothership, the crew went their separate ways, with the combat medic and young girl staying aboard the ship and the rest leaving back to Earth. Which really hit me in the feels because I was rooting for the aliens the whole time. As of 2287, a Zetan was spotted crash landing a UFO in the Commonwealth by the sole survivor. A little bit about the Zetans' biology. Now, Zetans are diminutive, hairless, yellowish, green-skinned humanoids with short, wiry limbs and green blood. Basically, they're fuck ugly. Their heads are disproportionately large with round, heavy-lidded, solid black eyelids with no discernible iris or pupil, a thin, toothless mouth with green tongue, and 2 pairs of small holes where ears and nostrils would be. They are the intergalactic equivalent of a meth addict. Now, Zetans have no opposable thumbs, each having 3 long tentacle-like fingers with large suction cups at each fingertip that allow them to manipulate objects. Which oddly made me wonder what would happen if they poked the tip of my penis. Would their weird suction finger get stuck? And then I wondered, what if it felt good? And if so, is eye contact on the table? They are also physically fragile and rely heavily on advanced weaponry, robotics, and energy shielding to circumvent this weakness. They breathe a similar atmosphere to humans and subsist mainly on a diet of alien worms and squid, which doesn't seem to be working for them because they're not really like the Dwayne Johnsons of aliens, are they? They look like they're anorexic as fuck, and I bet if you kicked them right in the armpit, they'd cry like a little bitch. Now, their society is a bit different than ours. The Zetans seem to have a strict society focused on work and progress, with no apparent concerns for hobbies and personal pursuits. Hence why they're all hostile as shit. Truth is, they just need a couple shots of Jaeger and a stewardess named Tiffany to suck on their balls, and they'll probably stop murdering humans. Now, their architecture is Spartan and purely functional. For instance, their beds are sterile metal capsules with no mattresses, blankets, sheets, or other pieces of bedcloths typically found in a normal human bed. And no discernible means of entertainment can be seen aboard Zeta. So sleepovers fucking suck at the Zetans' house, is what you're saying. However, the Zetans in their own right appear to have some degree of emotion because alien workers display obvious fear when confronted with armed assailants. However, it is possible that Zeta was just filled with a bunch of pussies. In another case, the aliens are shown to have a fascination with Giddy Up Buttercup, as demonstrated in a captive recorded log aboard Zeta, of Sally being taken to the recording room and noticing a Giddy Up Buttercup. She notes that upon her calling attention to it, the aliens become very excited, though she has no idea why they act this way. Turns out aliens are kinda gay for kids' playthings. Who'da thunk it? Now, the Lone Wanderer can also encounter what appears to be a sacrificial shrine to Giddy Up Buttercup, where there is a large circular chamber with the animatronic horse in the center surrounded by several human corpses, which is disturbing and will be sure to haunt my nightmares. They view other species as laboratory animals, worthy of preservation and storage at best, and vivisection and experimentation at worst. So pretty much how humans treat other animals on Earth. Got it. They speak in their own language of high-pitched screeches and wails, which is basically how I sound when I'm being raped. So with that said, I'm thinking verbal communication between humans and aliens might be impossible. This is not helped by the fact bearing recording some brief biological information. The aliens simply are not interested in discussion. It turns out they're not interested in humans at all, which is surprising because we have so much to offer. Think about it. Keeping up with the Kardashians, flat earthers, Tide Pods, cancel culture. You know what? Never mind. I think I understand aliens now. Now, they are incredibly advanced in their technological fields, capable of spaceflight and technological feats equal to, but often beyond that, even of the most advanced human pre-war technology. So they're not those soy boy avatar aliens with bows and arrows and shit, which is good because, to be honest, I wouldn't want to suit up and have to Jake Sully one of them by the Tree of Souls, if you know what I mean. Not that I wouldn't fuck an alien, but these aliens are fuck ugly. And I've got standards. I'm not just some space whore who goes around blowing any ET with a big glass helmet. So that's gonna be a hard pass. They possess technologies such as long-term cryostasis, energy force fields, powerful ray guns, genetic engineering, teleportation, and holograms. However, they are totally dependent on their technology and are physically limited by their extreme use of it. Because of this, they are physically fragile and ineffective in melee-based combat. Although this isn't something we're supposed to talk about in 2021 because it's body-shaming them for being such pussies. I think the politically correct way to talk about their childlike gimp bodies is to call them gravitationally challenged and not look directly at them. Now, their military is also quite interesting. Due to their frail bodies, the Zetans aboard Zeta generally rely on guardian drones, support drones, and automated turrets to do most of their fighting. They are also really bad at opening pickle jars. It's unrelated, but somehow I thought you should know. However, certain Zetans appear to be combat-ready soldiers, utilizing personal force field and force field generators for defense, atomizers and disintegrators for ranged combat, and shock batons for melee combat. All of their weapons are energy-based. In short, they fight like a bunch of bitches. They also rely on support technologies such as healing gels, weapon repairing epoxies, advanced healing archways, and teleportation matrices. Lastly, they appear to employ genetically engineered Zetan-human hybrids known as abominations as living weapons. But on Earth, we just call these types of abominations crackheads. Yeah, or bath salt enthusiasts. The bulk of their military capacity comes from their death rays mounted on their motherships, which have payloads comparable to nuclear weapons. These motherships have energy shielding and are spaceflight capable. Motherships also maintain a hangar with a fleet of Zetan-piloted recon crafts. So if you want to blow it up, you're going to need to Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith in a makeshift UFO to penetrate its innards. Zetans have different color jumpsuits that appear to indicate rank. They all seem to answer to the captain of their respective mothership. They also seem to have civilian non-combatant and support personnel known as workers, who perform maintenance, custodial, and research duties. Now, their infantry tactics involve placing automated defenses in strategic locations and relying on swarm tactics and advanced personal weaponry and defense systems to gain the upper hand on opponents. They also make use of teleportation matrices across the mothership to instantaneously transport soldiers from one side of the ship to the other. So basically, they use magic. Just like Woody Harrelson and his absurdly younger friend group in that Now You See Me, Now You Left the Theater disappointment movie. You know? That one. Anyways, the Zetans are these really unique, interesting characters in the Fallout universe that we don't seem to know a ton about, but we know enough about to know that they're just fuck ugly, angry creatures that we should just avoid at all costs. I hope you enjoyed this little fucking rundown of the Zetan Aliens in the Fallout universe. Thanks again for watching, folks. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to bitch slap that subscribe button like it's 3 weeks behind on your rent. Bitch! Where's the money, bitch? Where's the money? Where is it? Also, go ahead and hit that bell icon, too, because apparently YouTube thought there should be extra steps. Why not, right?
I'd like to subscribe, but first I have to click this and do this. Oh, it needs an email. All right, and this. Okay, fuck. Just tell me when he's uploading. Fuck!
Once you do all that, if you're lucky, at the stroke of midnight, a tiny little Averagebaters fairy might come and tickle your butthole. Now, I hope to see you all again next time, and remember to keep on average baiting, baby.